Whoa, Black Betty, bam the lamb. Whoa, Black Betty, bam the lamb. Black Betty had a child, bam the lamb. The damn thing gone wild. Do you know, actually, I used to have a camper van, a black camper van called Black Betty.
I borrowed it off you once.
You did, yeah. Black Betty, Dan's black van. Whoa, Black Betty, Dan's black van. Anyway, welcome to this episode of Is It? We should do one where we sort of harmonise. Except neither... Well, I can't sing.
Well, next time we do it, you just hit a fifth.
Yeah.
7th?
An eighth.
13th.
Hit an eighth.
Dan wants an 8th. 16th. That's all you can afford.
18th, yeah.
Get a 10th.
Yeah, gone are those days.
Them were the days.
Okay, so, Dr. Vincent,
Yes.
what are we looking at today?
Today, binoculars. We are looking at another plugin from Plugin Alliance.
Hurrah.
It's a Lindell
Hooray.
Audio, MU66.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Lovely stuff.
lovely stuff. Yeah, saw this crop up on the old Plugin Alliance website a few weeks ago and thought...
The old PIA.
The old PIA, pissed in Amsterdam.
Yep.
I thought, that's an interesting looking thing, but when you see a new plugin that's got that look of a racked piece of gear, you're just immediately drawn to have a quick shifty at it. Took me a minute to get my head around what it is, and then it suddenly dawned on me what it is.
It's a stereo.
What it is it's a 2-band Fairchild.
Ah.
Which, who doesn't want a 2-band Fairchild? That's pretty cool.
Is it?
Yeah, well, Fairchild's the hardware, we were chatting to Paul from Audio Animals at Gearfest, and I think he's got the Unfairchild, which is like a clone, which is...
Yeah.
that's pretty expensive, tasty bit of gear. And he just got hold of an actual Fairchild.
Yeah.
I think he had 3 different hardware Fairchilds and obviously a couple of plugins, and he was going to do a shootout, which he might have done by now, which would be really interesting. But yeah, Fairchilds, I haven't used them very often. It's one of those things, if you're in a studio and they've got one, you're probably going to use it.
Yeah.
It's pretty epic on a drum bus. Sometimes you just slam the whole mix through it, just for a little bit of gain reduction, just
Little
to
tickle.
Give it a bit of vibe. Do you know what they were designed for originally?
Nope.
It was basically a compressor or a limiter to the audio to go through just before it hit the lathe. When they used to...
Oh, really?
Yeah, when they used to cut vinyl.
Wax.
Yeah, wax cylinders. Yeah, back in the old days, apparently that's what it was originally designed for.
Just to stop the
It was just to stop the peaks when you're cutting vinyl, and then someone went, "Hang on, I'll have that in my studio, and I'll just mix through that."
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But yeah, they're insanely expensive, tens of thousands, multiple tens of thousands.
Yeah.
So the plugins are very popular. Obviously, UAD do a good one. Waves did one, which was all right. But Lindell have gone, we'll see your
Mono
Fairchild.
2-band Fairchild.
Yeah, and we will give you a 2-band Fairchild. Not only a 2-band Fairchild, a 2-band Fairchild that you can run in mid-side,
Oh.
which is like, hello.
You love a bit of mid-side, don't you?
I love a bit of mid-side, yeah. Yeah.
I've always been a missionary sort of a child.
Now I feel sick. You just stay that way up. Right. So yes, let's go through it. So, like the original, it's a very Mu style compressor. Like I said, it has 2 bands. You can see on the left, there's the on-off, there's your meters. You can set your metering between input, output, and gain reduction.
Yeah.
You then have your little box with your buttons in it, so you can have it in, you can solo it, and you can flip it there between mid and side. So what you would normally do is you'd have the top one set to mid, the bottom one set to side.
Yeah.
Different amounts of compressors for them inside. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Big input gain, big threshold.
Yeah.
And then your time constant. So that basically affects the attack and release. In fact, the idea of that on mid-side separate is really tasty. And it was always interesting. You don't want it too slow. If it's too slow, it kills all the transients. If it's fast, it's very, it's quite snappy how quickly it snaps back. So you can get a really sort of like good bit of transient action happening. Then down the bottom here, you've got a side chain, obviously, that goes all the way up to 500. You've got your crossover point there between the 2 bands.
Yeah.
You have a parallel control, which is really nice, and your master gain. Then these 3 switches over here, Smash does exactly what you would think it would do. It just drives it harder. The Niveau, which was also on there Niveau. This was on that channel strip we looked at of theirs.
Nimo.
So basically all it does is when it's switched on is it adds less compression to the low end.
Okay.
There you go. And then you can link or unlink, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
You obviously want it unlinked in mid-side. And then you can decide in stereo whether that's working for you or not. You can see this little screwdriver accessible thing, which luckily you can do with a mouse. That adds your THD, your total harmonic distortion. So the more you push that, the more analogy it's going to sound. Yeah.
Oh, very, very nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. So it's pretty basic. It's kind of basic, but quite specific, isn't it? What with the switches on the side there and the option to have in mid-side. What sort of applications would you use it for?
Generally, whole mixes. Very good for whole mixes. If you're subtle with it, don't go mad.
Yep.
Very, very subtle, like 1 dB or less of compression, gain reduction. Yeah, be very subtle with it. It will make things sound great. Pretty amazing on vocals. And the fact that it's 2-band is great. You can
Why is that?
Well, because when you are singing, you get that chest bit of your voice, which can quite often trigger a compressor to really sort of squash things.
Yeah.
But quite often the bit that you hear is a much higher bit, and that's getting overly compressed because of the low end bit of your voice. So you can just set the crossover frequency so that it's not doing that.
Brilliant.
So really nice, really smooth vocal sound with this. And again, I loved it on drums. You can slam drums into this and get a great sound, and the 2-band thing just means you can get it, the kick is really coming through and, compress the life at the top end or not.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
16 times oversampling, it'll do.
Excellent.
How much? Go on. What are you going to ask?
Well, 16 times oversampling.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So, like, if you have 2 times oversampling and you're running it at 44.1, then that it behaves as if it was 88.2.
Yeah.
So 4 times.
This
blah
is
blah blah.
Yeah, this is kind of Nyquist.
Yeah. So the more.
So why 16 times?
Well, because then the top end is the chances of aliasing are so remote at that point.
Yeah.
Because
No shit.
Yeah.
And even if they did, it'd just be like dogs.
Yeah.
Going here, your fucking mix is aliasing.
There might be someone out there specialising in mixing dog music. We don't know. We just assume that we're all making
dog
music for humans.
Yeah.
No, there's different things. I mean, there are obviously disadvantages to too much oversampling. Sometimes it can cause issues. It does a bit of a strange thing to the sound, which isn't particularly pleasant. And obviously it uses a hell of a lot more CPU.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So generally
16 times
4
more.
times is generally all right for most things.
Okay, excellent.
Guess the price.
Oh, I love it when you do this. £14.99.
If only it was. The regular price is $149. In the sale right now, $99.
Same numbers, just different decimal point.
That's true. Well spotted. Yeah, it's $99 in the sale right now.
Yeah.
14-day demo because it's Plug-in Alliance.
Yep.
But also because it's Plug-in Alliance, give it a few months. This will come down.
And it'll be one of those packs that you can buy. And,
it'll be a bargain. When this comes down, this is another one. It's just, there's. I don't think there's anything exactly like this out there.
Has it got Dan Peters written on it?
No, I could see why. Yeah, not your cup of tea, is it really?
Not really, no. Not really. I think, I don't know. Anyway, excellent. So, Sean, the Lindell
MU66.
MU66.
Yeah.
Is it shit?
No, I don't think it is.
It's expensive, but it's not shit.
It's a bit expensive, but we know it's going to come down to a very reasonable price. Yeah. I'm not aware. There might be others. I'm sure someone's going to shout at me and tell me there are others. I'm not aware of any multi-band Fairchild emulators out there, so I'm a bit of a fan of this one.
Excellent stuff.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff. Well, there you have it. Once again, a plugin that Sean likes and I'm indifferent towards. Please like the video.
That would be nice if you did. You could also you could subscribe to the channel or become a channel member.
Indeed you do.
We have an Instagram,
we do.
Studio Life 101. There's a Patreon, there's a merch stand, and there's a link to my mixing course down below. 5 videos over 3 hours. Watch a complete mix in here, the whole thing filmed. You see all the screen, all the plugins I actually use, how I use them, why I use them.
Do you get the stems?
You get all the stems, including the drums, professionally recorded by Johnny Atkinson. Sounds amazing. So yeah, if you ever wanted to mix a bunch of real stems from a real session that have been recorded really nicely, this is your opportunity to do it for only 40 quid.
If you go back through the videos, you can see the studio in which those drums were recorded.
You can.
We talk about the processing that Johnny uses to record his session drums.
Yeah, and some beautiful mics he's used on them.
He does, yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah,
Anyway,
really worth having a look at that, guys. But until next time, adios.
sayonara.